Let's see what's new in Disneyland Construction today. We got updates from Tiana's Palace, bad news for Fantasmic, good news for Steakhouse 55, but first, let's get the latest from Adventureland Treehouse. Well, good news, bad news today from the Adventureland Treehouse. Bad news, the scrims are back up on the treehouse, top to bottom. You can't see anything. Well, actually, you can see the daughter's room, but you can't see anything else on the treehouse. The good news, though, is that because the scrims are up, that means that they are busy working on stuff, and you can hear them a whooping and a hollering back there. They are actively constructing stuff inside the treehouse, which is exciting. That's what we like to see. Now, that does suggest to me, though, that, again, we're not near finished. I tried to look through the knotholes in the fence. Difficult to get a shot today because of the crowds, etc. But one thing that I could see with my own naked eye without putting the camera in there was that they have put in some new concrete along the floor, along about where the riverbed would be. There's new concrete there. There were crews back there actively digging and constructing there as well. I think part of the reason why they had to dig all that out and why the waterfall and the river were sacrificed temporarily, were taken out, was so that they could install the water wheel. I have a feeling now that it looks like they're putting all that back in as they prepare for the water wheel to be installed, which should be coming up. I believe that's what the concrete that I saw on the ground through the fence is right about where the water wheel would be. My guess is that is what they're preparing for, is the installation. Meanwhile, I also did get to see crews actually working on the sun's room. So again, the reason why we didn't see or haven't seen the sun's room yet is because we're still quite a ways away from this thing being done. I think we got tricked a little bit because they had taken the scrims down and revealing the whole treehouse, which was a suggestion possibly that they were close to being finished. Probably not. So they are working on the sun's room now. So hopefully in the coming weeks we'll be able to see that get installed. I'm really excited. I'm super excited. More excited than any reasonable human should be about a single little ruin being installed on the Adventureland Treehouse. I'm gonna lose my mind when this place finally opens. As I walk to our normal filming location for Tiana's Palace, formerly French Market, I can smell the paint. They are painting presently. I can smell it walking around here. There they are right there. Those are the guys that are painting as we speak. Right over that wall. Now, you can see, I don't know if you've noticed in previous updates where those brick, the entrance area there with the little brick walls, little short to be walls, I don't know what to call those. That was dirt previously. It looks like they have completed that. That's that section that we saw them digging out with the overhead photos from Club last week. So they have indefinitely grown or growing the seating area, but beyond the entrance. That's really interesting. I would imagine, I had speculated that they might do the same here in that space between the entrance and the bandstand, which is out of frame to the left just barely. The crew are standing there in front of that presently. There's a tarp down there, so I can't tell if that's dirt or concrete. We'll find out probably in future updates. Quick look at the facade here at the Adventureland Bar. Looks to be about the same. The awning and the exterior walls, which by the way have not been, they look to be the same. They have not done anything to the actual walls of the Adventureland Bar. You can see the art there still, but they're still waiting for the new paint there on the awning. There's hard hats all over the place. I love it. I wish I could stand here and watch all day. Taking a quick look again at the guys. There's one crew, a couple guys that are actually, it looks like they're sanding it down, a part of it, while another guy's putting on perhaps a base coat. It's just roller paint. It's nothing. I think it's just a base coat of some kind. Back at Splash Mountain, where the countdown has begun. We are about 10 days away from this attraction closing for what I assume to be at least a year, closer to 2, as they converted into Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Folks are showing up now. They're showing up now to get in their last rides on Splash Mountain. It won't be just on May 30th, but from now until then, you're going to see big crowds here. It's presently a little bit after 11 a.m. Standby wait time is about 45 minutes, and it's kind of a chilly day today too. I expect this to grow quickly as the day progresses and as the day warms up. That's a pretty healthy standby queue right now for 11 o'clock on a not hot day. Meanwhile, I have heard reports of Lightning Lane getting nuts. People are getting Lightning Lane or getting GD Plus for the express purpose of riding Splash Mountain. It was just yesterday, I believe, where we saw a Lightning Lane queue go back in this opposite direction, and as we walk back towards the standby queue, all the way down to the Briar Patch and beyond. That was Lightning Lane, which is significant because you would never, ever see that on Splash Mountain. Anecdotally, I heard it was bad enough that cast were actively dissuading people from getting into the standby queue because they knew they were going to have to service a whole bunch of Lightning Lane guests before standby could ever get in there. If you have designs on riding Splash Mountain in the next week and a half, best get here in the AM if you can. I strongly recommend that, or very late evening, as always. That's always a great time to ride splashes, after the fireworks and things like that. But don't try to ride in the middle of the day. You'll just be waiting. It's going to be 2 or 3 hours probably at least. I just had a terrifying thought. What if they close the secret path while they're constructionizing Splash Mountain? What if they need to secure this area because they're going to change something, because I've seen them working on the turnaround at Walt Disney World, at the Magic Kingdom. There's work being done on that part of the attraction, which is what I'm standing on top of. Will they close the secret path for 2 years? That's not good for my mental health. There's Roberto piloting the Mark Twain today. Oh, and there's Mossy on the top deck. They are loading the top deck. I had to skip it earlier this morning because they weren't loading. Maybe I'll try again. Update for you on Fantasmic. When we were here last week, we saw that the scrim was down, which was a great sign. We thought, okay, that's a positive sign towards the direction of seeing some kind of return of Fantasmic, be that in B mode. Obviously, a B mode show, but at least some kind of show. The rumor that we had heard was May 28th. Disney has put the kibosh on that. Disney updated everybody the other day, said we're not going to see a return of Fantasmic until at least Labor Day, which is in September. The reason for that is hard to say, whether or not it has anything to do with getting the show ready, if they were not able to get the show ready, the B mode ready in that time. The way that the statement was worded makes me think that they're actually delaying the opening because they want to change the show. I feel like they might be taking this opportunity to scale it down, not just replace Murphy with the projection, but maybe other facets of the show, other parts of the show as well. I couldn't say to what extent, but I think they may be taking this opportunity to scale down the show. Meanwhile, they're going to be doing this in other shows as well. I have a feeling that we may see a scale back on fireworks and the color as well. They said that they were going to put a pause on all pyro temporarily in abundance of caution so that they can make sure that there's no points of failure in those shows. But I do think now it could be that could be a permanent situation. I'm 50-50 right now. I feel like there's a chance that we may not see a live Murphy here again. It just depends, I guess, on how popular the show remains. Without it, we'll find out in September, or maybe even later than that, we'll find out. We'll wait until then. Hopefully, now, we thought it might be May. Hopefully it is in September. In the meantime, we are now down an evening show. We have only one nighttime show here in the park where there usually is too. There's ongoing action here starting, you know, at whatever, 8:30. So we're short a show. I think there's a good chance, because in that statement they were looking at other nighttime opportunities. We've heard rumors, paint the night rumors. We've heard rumors. There's little clues, little hints here and there. We know that the floats are still here, local. They're not in the park. They're in storage, but here in Anaheim. So we know that the floats are still here. We also know that the costumes are still here. There's been talk. So there's still a a 1 in a million shot that we get Paint the Night back. There is still a shot we might get Main Street Electrical Parade back. That is more likely than you think, because this last time the Electrical Parade was here, they didn't say anything like for the last time, which they did say the last 2 times that the Main Street Electrical Parade was back. They said the finale, this is it. We're never going to do Main Street Electrical Parade again, and they brought it back twice. They didn't say that this last time. So now those floats, I think, are off-site somewhere. They're not here. They brought in the Magic Happens floats to replace those. So we'll see. But I feel like it's about the right time. Summer is a good time for Main Street Electrical Parade. It's after that, obviously, but they might bring that back before September. You could see possibly Main Street Electrical Parade, in August or something like that. I don't see why not. In Fantasyland, we have a reopening date for Peter Pan's Flight. You may have heard, obviously, that it's going to be closing on June 5th, along with Mr. Toad's and Alice in Wonderland. Those two, Alice and Toad's, are reopening on June 16th. Peter Pan is staying closed another 2 weeks. It'll reopen on June 30th, which is just about a little bit longer than the normal wait you have here on a regular day. As I said in a previous video, nothing is changing with the show. They're not changing any elements in either this show, Peter Pan, or in Alice or Toad's. No show changes at all. They're not updating anything in there. This is just, backstage type stuff. There are rumors that it was electrical. There are rumors that there was a leak in the roof. I cannot confirm any of those stories. Obviously, Disney's not going to say. But either way, it doesn't matter what it is. It really doesn't matter. Peter Pan's going to be closed for, almost a month, and Toads and Alice are going to be closed for about 10 days, and then they'll be back open again. Go to Toontown next. Check in on the construction walls around Centennial Park. And things look to be progressing here quickly, at least with respect to the area around the Dreaming Tree. That appears to have been filled and replaced. I don't see where they've taken out or replacing the grass or the roots, so it's possible they may be satisfied with their condition as of today. We'll see. Well, if they take these walls down quickly and just put in the new grass there around the tree, then we'll know that they're good with that, and that we won't be seeing new roots or grass.
As we leave Toontown Depot, we get a real nice view of the happiest land of them all, Fantasyland. You can see people stepping onto It's a Small World just below us. And, off in the distance, majestic Matterhorn Mountain. We're now steaming forward into the future, to a land inspired by visions of tomorrow, both practical and imagined. Here you'll find rocket ships and astroblasters, and if you look overhead, maybe a glimpse of a Mark 7 monorail. This is the latest version of the first daily operating monorail system in the entire Western Hemisphere, gliding above Disneyland since 1959. Below the monorail, and us, are the fun-filled roadways of the Autopia. Drivers of all ages can get behind the wheel of these cars. No experience or license required. If you're into soaring spaceships or doing battle with evil empires and emperors, Tomorrowland is definitely the place for you.
Here I did this whole bit. I'm going to take the train from Toontown to Tomorrowland, then get on the monorail and do our downtown Disney update. But we add monorail to the attractions that are down today. We're having an electrical issue, apparently, getting power to the monorail. So I may not be able to do a downtown Disney update or a Matterhorn update today. I can though report that Matterhorn vehicle testing has been going on all of this morning. I've seen many cars go by, so they are in active testing mode right now. You can actually hear it right now. I think you can hear the cars being released throughout the track. So we are on track for our June reopening. And yet another unexpected change here at Fantasyland, the restrooms here at the transition between the Big Thunder Trail and Fantasyland. We've got some scaffolding up. Surely that's just cosmetic. I don't expect they're going to be changing the bathrooms, but yeah, it looks like the scaffolding does continue on all the way to the Red Rose Tavern. Again, I suspect normally when you see this, it's a lot to do for a little bit. Scaffolding's needed all over. My guess is just new paint or maybe some new trim somewhere, but I don't expect anything major to be happening here. This time next week, guests will be able to meet the new live-action Ariel from The Little Mermaid. They'll be able to meet her this time next week, and not at Princess Fantasy Fair where I thought she would be. It is my understanding you're going to be able to meet her here at the Small World Promenade in front of Small World, where that band is playing right now. I don't think I gave the actual date. May 26th, Little Mermaid Ariel will be appearing here in front of Small World on starting May 26th. Probably just a limited run, not a full-time engagement. The regular full-time Ariel, I'm sure, will still be appearing at Princess Fantasy Fair at Fantasy Hall, but live-action Ariel will be here. Arrived at the Uva Bar, or the location formerly known as Uva Bar, and I don't see any earth movers from here, but obviously everything has been torn down, completely gone. I don't have any recent photos from Ballast Point, but I would imagine it's probably all dirt there. We can see from here, though, that they have added a scrim. They are blocking the view now, or they're blocking our view of the upper floor there of what was Catal and soon to be Paseo. Speaking of which, I'm going to look at these images on these walls for months, but I'm going to have to find me a way to get me some of them tacos here pretty soon. Take a peek around the corner, and there's the scrim again that we saw from the other side, and you'll also notice that they have gutted sprinkles. The facade is gone, the brown facade, the weird don't come in facade is gone, and you can see, hopefully, I'm not sure if there's a lot of shadow here, that they have gutted it completely. From what I understand, what I gathered, this is going to become the new entrance. They're going to expand this. This is the former entrance right here of Catal, and they're gonna widen it right here, and that's where the stairs going upstairs will go up there. We did a video, I can't remember when, but I got footage of the stairs going up and then a little bit of the upstairs there as well, because I don't think I've ever eaten at Catal before, not in my life. By the way, it looks like they've also covered up one of those windows. Is that covered? So they must be up to some whooping and a hollering in there right now too. So things are happening here at Catal. Next door Jazz Kitchen, since we were here last, they've added some umbrellas, which I have to say makes a world of difference. It used to just be tables and chairs and literally nothing else. I mean, they are very bright and very orange, but that's significantly better than what it was. Hopefully there's more to come. I'm gonna try to stay positive on this. I know a lot of us aren't happy about it, but I'm gonna try to stay positive and hope that things start to flesh out a little bit. Still waiting for Beignets Express, that's a D at the end, to reopen. But everything, it looks like you've got, the sign is already lit, and I see a fire. Yeah, they've lit that, I don't know what you call the torch on that thing. The old Beignets Express here, I remember loving the interior. I mean, it's not much, it wasn't much, but I remember loving it. It made you feel like you were actually buying beignets in New Orleans, like it was a New Orleans beigneterie. I'm not gonna get that vibe here. I'm never going to feel that way again. But it's not like I came here all the time. I'm like, oh my God, we got to come and get the beignets over at Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen because of the internal theming. I'm trying really hard. This could be awesome. Wait till it's done, I guess. Thought I would check in on the monorail while I was down here, and it does look like it's still currently unavailable. It's becoming a developing story. It's been 4 hours. They never opened. Actually, when I spoke with them at the attraction, it was around noon, and they said, maybe like 11 or so, they said they hadn't yet opened. They never opened in the morning. And it's been 4 hours since then. That means it's been closed all day. It's been closed for 8.5 hours right now. It's 4:30. That's a developing story, as we say in the business. I should add, by the way, it is my understanding that Steakhouse 55 been closed for a long time since they started construction of the DVC Tower. Steakhouse 55 will be coming back. That is my understanding. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident on that. I've been advised that the interiors, the doors have been shut and they're just using it for storage, but they never gutted the place. They never updated anything in there. Everything is as it was. So it's still, usable as a restaurant in the same capacity that it was before. So that's good news. That's good news that there's a very good chance that Steakhouse 55 will come back, and it will be coming back in addition to a new restaurant at the DVC Tower. The Discovery Tower will be getting its own restaurant, an upscale one. So you're going to have, now where there are none presently, fine dining as it were here at the DVC or at the Disneyland Hotel, there will be two. When I don't know if Steakhouse would open up at the same time. I imagine hopefully they won't have a hard time restoring everything, but there's a good chance that they could both open when the DVC Tower does, because I think they had to close it because of the DVC Tower. Back at San Francisco Square, checking in on the Pacific Wharf, the actual Pacific Wharf Cafe, which is finally starting to see some updates. We got a new development here. Scrim and scaffolding at the Pacific Wharf Cafe. Looks like they'll be doing some of the same stuff that we've seen them do on some of the areas outside, out in the front. New branding, new badges, that kind of thing. You're going to see a little paint, probably a lucky cat or two. And it looks like they've got a scaffolding around that pipe in the same way that they had one around the pipe over the restroom next to Lucky Fortune. Also, they still have the walls and scaffolding up in the Scrim on the opposite side of the Pacific Wharf Cafe, which is going to be Lucky Cat. But we can kind of get a peek at what the paint of the new signage that they put on that side. You can see a few of the characters, a few of the words there that are new. At first, I thought it was going to be Lucky Cat or Cat, but I think that's actually the word salt. But I'm not positive. Looks like it to me from here. We'll check in when we can see more. Has that sign always been a banner? I think they took the sign down and put up a banner. That's our construction update for you guys for this week. Bummer about Fantasmic. Bummer about Splash Mountain. last week or so of operation, and then they're going to close for like 1.5 years or 2 years. We're almost there. But at least we got some positive signs out of the Adventureland Treehouse. Even though the scrims are up, it does sound like they are pressing forward. So thanks for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh baked.